Subscribe to the Prepper Historian before we begin, because what you're about to hear is one of those overlooked wartime innovations that quietly solved a life or death problem at sea. During the Second World War, thousands of sailors, airmen and merchant mariners found themselves stranded in lifeboats with limited rations, brutal wind exposure and one critical restriction: no open flame. A visible fire meant detection by enemy submarines or aircraft. Yet, without heat, morale collapsed. Water couldn't be sterilized, and survival time shortened dramatically. The solution was elegant, chemical, nearly smokeless, and designed to function in cramped, salt-soaked conditions. Today, that forgotten technology offers modern preppers a low-signature heating option that deserves serious study. Wartime necessity forced the invention of flameless survival heating systems at sea. The World War II lifeboat stove was not a conventional stove in the civilian sense. It was, a compact, often tin-based heating unit issued with naval survival kits. Some of these stoves relied on solid fuel tablets derived from hexamine or trioxane, while others incorporated self-contained chemical heating packs. The key requirement was, honestly, minimal flame visibility, low smoke, resistance to wind, and, of course, safe operation inside a partially enclosed lifeboat canopy. Hexamine fuel tablets had already been used in military field stoves before the war, but lifeboat variants were, modified for maritime survival. The flame burned small and blue, producing little smoke and limited odour. In certain British and American survival kits, heating elements were paired with insulated containers that trapped heat efficiently, reducing fuel consumption. This clever pairing really helped to stretch limited resources in some pretty dire situations. German naval survival gear experimented with similar compact chemical systems, especially for U-boat emergency rafts. These innovations, they reflected a shared understanding of the challenges faced at sea. The strategic constraint shaped the engineering. A large cooking fire was impossible. A controlled micro-burn or chemical heat reaction was ideal. It's rather fascinating how necessity in these cases truly was the mother of invention. It reduced visual detection at night while still allowing the crew to warm condensed rations or, heat collected rainwater. The design principles reveal lessons modern preppers can apply immediately. The first principle was fuel density. Hexamine contains high energy relative to its size and, stores indefinitely if kept dry. Modern preppers can still purchase hexamine or trioxane fuel tablets today. Stored in waterproof containers, they remain viable for years. This makes them suitable for bug-out bags or marine kits. The second principle was wind shielding. WWII lifeboat stoves used integrated wind guards or nested tin enclosures. If you recreate this system today, you can use a small folding metal windscreen or construct a simple aluminum barrier that encloses the tablet on 3 sides. The goal is not just concealment, but fuel efficiency. Even mild wind dramatically reduces heat transfer. The third principle was heat containment. Wartime survival manuals emphasized placing a canteen cup or ration tin directly over the small flame with minimal air gaps. Heat loss was the enemy. Modern insulated metal cups with lids, well, they replicate this concept perfectly. When you reduce airflow, you reduce fuel waste. Recreating a low-signature heating system for modern preparedness requires thoughtful adaptation. Well, you start with commercially available hexamine tablets, which are stored in sealed packaging. Then you pair them with a compact folding stove frame, or, if you prefer, you can construct a small steel bracket that holds the tablet just slightly elevated. Next, you surround it with a windscreen that has small ventilation openings at the base. This setup allows for oxygen intake without, exposing a bright flame. For maritime or coastal preppers, it's a good idea to add a non-reflective outer cover, which helps reduce the light signature at night. Back during the Second World War, sailors would sometimes shield heat sources beneath tarps or canvas, all while making sure to maintain proper airflow. The key is balance, sufficient oxygen for combustion without amplifying visibility. Test your setup in controlled conditions. Boil a measured quantity of water and time the burn rate. Historically, one hexamine tablet could boil roughly half a litre of water under sheltered conditions. Your results will vary based on altitude, temperature, and wind exposure. Document your data. Treat it like a field experiment, not a hobby trial. Chemical heating without visible flame offers another avenue worth studying. By the later war years, flameless ration heaters based on exothermic chemical reactions were under development. Today's modern equivalent is the magnesium-iron alloy heater used in military MREs. When activated with saline water, it produces heat without flame. This principle echoes the same wartime requirement: heat without detection. Preppers can integrate modern flameless ration heaters into maritime kits or urban emergency caches. They produce no visible flame and minimal light, making them suitable for low-visibility environments. They also function indoors without the carbon monoxide risk that's usually associated with combustion stoves. The limitation, really, is their single-use design. Unlike hexamine tablets, flameless ration heaters are, well, not reusable. So, this means they're best reserved for short-duration emergencies, or, those stealth scenarios. Understanding historical context really does strengthen practical decision-making today. During the Second World War, lifeboat stoves weren't about comfort at all. They were really about maintaining operational capacity. Warm water, for example, reduces dehydration risk because it improves morale and digestion. Heated rations help preserve caloric efficiency, especially in cold environments. And, well, a small controlled heat source can also dry minor equipment or just warm your hands enough to prevent loss of dexterity. In modern terms, this translates to energy conservation. A flameless or low-flame stove consumes less fuel, produces less risk and extends survival time in concealment scenarios. Whether you are preparing for maritime emergencies along the Kenyan coast or building an inland emergency kit, the principle remains the same: low visibility, high efficiency, compact reliability. Recreating the World War II lifeboat stove is less about nostalgia and more about disciplined design thinking. Do not overcomplicate the system. Keep components minimal. Waterproof your fuel. Shield your flame. Contain your heat. Test your burn rates. Store backups. Historical survival gear succeeded because it was simple enough to function under stress and harsh conditions. If this deep dive into overlooked wartime survival engineering added something new to your understanding, subscribe to The Prepper Historian and share this with someone who takes preparedness seriously. History is not a museum piece. It is a tested laboratory. And sometimes the smallest wartime innovation carries the most enduring lessons.